How you doing? I'm Meteorologist Paul Deanno with your KOMO 4-Dub for August 9th. And what do all of these numbers have to do with La Nina? Well, that's a chart looking back at the average temperature and rainfall or snowfall for every month of every year since way back before World War II. And that is the key to seeing what La Nina in the past, with this particular La Nina pattern that we're now in, will mean for this upcoming fall and for this winter, at least looking back at some analog years, similar years. Now, meteorologist Scott Sistek did some research, and he found 3 years that we quickly transitioned from an El Nino, like we were in just a couple months ago, to a La Nina winter. One would be the winter of 1973 to 74. Next one is 1988-89, and the final one is the winter of 1998 and 99. Now, using all of this data, I look back at the fall and winter of all 3 of those years and found a couple consistencies throughout all 3 years. Now, not every month was similar when it comes to rainfall or when it comes to temperature, but I found a couple things that you could say could lead us to believe that this may happen this upcoming fall and winter. The first thing is what happens in September. If you look at rainfall for each of the 3 years, in September it was well below normal, less than 2 inches in all 3, and similarly, temperatures for 2 of the 3 years were well above normal, 63 degrees the average temperature 10 years ago, and then back in 73, 74, above normal as well. So the signature is, not a guarantee, but the signature is that this type of La Nina transition means we'll be warmer than normal and drier than normal in September. Now that goes against what typically happens the rest of the fall and winter, but it may start off September, starting off the fall, drier than normal and also warmer than normal. October, not too different from normal in any of that. But the one signature that really held true for all 3 of these analog years, analog winters, if you will, is a very wet November. Of course, the one in 98-99, nearly a foot of rainfall, more than 8 inches in 88-89, and 1973 November, we had nearly 8 inches of rainfall. So 2 things can really be drawn from these numbers. We typically have a very wet November, and we typically have a pretty dry and pretty mild September. Something else we've seen in all 3 of these years, lots of mountain snow. This right here is a picture of Mount Baker. Now, back in the winter of 98-99, Mount Baker set the all-time record for any recording station on Earth for the most snowfall, and that is indicative of what happens in the La Nina pattern. You get a lot of moisture piling into western Washington, you get a lot of cold air piling into western Washington, and where those two meet up, not only can you get lowland snow, but you can get a ton of snowfall in places like Mount Baker. So skiers, you should be very happy. If you like some drier weather or warmer weather into early fall, you may be happy with this signature in September, and if you just like big old rainfall, November may very well be your month with this particular La Nina pattern where we quickly transition from El Nino to La Nina. This is what has happened in the past over the past generation or two. So dry Septembers, very wet Novembers. Let's talk about the next several days. Chance of showers coming up on Monday night into Tuesday. By the end of this week, though, beautiful mid-August weather, highs around 80, a lot of sunshine and offshore wind may develop a pattern change back to some dry stuff over the next several days, and as you just saw, a big transition to what likely will be a wet and cold winter, but it may start off quite nice in September. That's your forecast for the next couple days, and that's your KOMO 4-Dub for August 9th. La Nina's here. We'll talk more about it all fall and all winter long. I'm Meteorologist Paul Deanno. Make it a great day.